get much better than this, so let's just jump in game and introduce what's going to be one heck of a series. This is a rematch from the Alimo League yearly, Alimo League 2016 finals, the offline event which was played at the end of last year in Korea. It was soO, ByuN there in the finals. If I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, soO ended up winning. I think it was 3-1, maybe even. Can't actually remember. That was played on Home Story Cup day. So I was actually at Home Story Cup, so I couldn't actually watch those matches. I think I rewatched them later, but I didn't watch it live. And I just remember waking up and seeing that soO had won. I was like, soO beat ByuN? What? So yeah, this could be really, really awesome. This could be really sick. We're going to kick things off to the top left-hand side of the map of the blue Zerg player. Guys, let's hear it if you're going to be cheering on soO. And down to the bottom right-hand side of the map, the red Terran player is going to be ByuN. Okay, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, do make sure you hit that follow button. Great way to see when we go live with more matches like this. Very happy to tell you all that the Leifeng Cup and SGL Cups will be returning in February as well. So you can look forward to those. Those generally involve a lot of players, such as who we are seeing today. So that's going to be really sick to have back in February, those events. Looking forward to those returning to our screens here on WardiTV. And of course we cast so much more as well, the WardiTV Team League. And just so much more. Like last week we cast the OSC Championship. Tomorrow we actually have the Go for SC2 monthly finals. I actually forgot tomorrow's Go for SC2 monthly finals, not Team League cast. So that's going to be tomorrow's broadcast for you all. And we also have Natural Expansion tomorrow as well. That's sort of exciting. ByuN going 3RX Reaper, by the way. Tomorrow, Natural Expansion. Lycan is going to be joining me as his co-host. As my co-host. And we're going to be joined by Penguin and Optimus, who are going to be talking about Nation Wars and the importance of national level competition. We're going to be talking about national level competition in the sense of WESG coming up as well. And we're going to be talking about the importance of regional events such as Cheesadelphia and OSC Championship. And that's going to be coming up tomorrow from 11 PM CET and Natural Expansion after the Go for SC2 monthly finals. So look forward to all of that tomorrow here on WardiTV. As we're going to be seeing for now, the Reapers are going to be starting to harass, and well, let's see what soO can do against this. For now, it's a pretty good defense. Loses a couple of lings, but keeps his queen alive, pushes the Reapers back. He looks as though he's going to focus on just the Zerglings for the defense here, which is again becoming a more common thing to defend 3RX Reaper on these maps. These maps are not the best for 3RX Reaper. There's not very many ledges to utilize and so on, and so it's much better to kind of go for only Zerglings than Roaches, because you don't necessarily need a sturdy force that can hold a position. You need a force that can chase these Reapers down, because you actually have the chance to chase Reapers down. ByuN making an uncharacteristic mistake here. Loses a Reaper as it hops up to the high ground and just not paying attention to his reinforcements. Losing one Reaper. Now this stage is kind of important actually, because I mean the more Reapers you have, the more it starts to snowball out of control. So losing a few early on like this, well, that definitely sucks. You're going to see those Reapers dodging around. Ling's actually dodging away from both the grenades so far. Nice grenade there. That one does catch, and another one as well. But now the Reapers are starting to fall also. They're going to be cornered a little bit back in the back now. They do find their way down that ramp. The Ling's just continuing to back away. So honestly, soO holds this off, and he can just go back to droning. Focus up on that. He's got enough Zerglings to keep on defending. As we see ByuN going into the free CC behind all of this. So he's going up into the triple command center, and he will now start up his add-ons as well. So early pressure, I mean, it kept him pretty even on workers, so it's already done a pretty decent job. It traded out okay against a few things here and there. But now overall he's got these Reapers which he can continue to do a little bit with. But the reality is there's so many Zerglings on the map that it's very difficult for ByuN to move across here. So unlikely that ByuN's going to be able to get much more done. As we can see, an Evo Chamber start up from soO. See what he wants to do with that. Probably just a singular upgrade. Obviously, one of the benefits that ByuN will take from this game is the fact that soO is on a very late third hatchery. That third hatch has only just started, and that's a very normal thing to happen when you go up against 3RX Reaper, because it's just almost, it's difficult to get a drone into position when there's one Reaper on the map, right? You know, you think that there's one Reaper on the map, sometimes your drone gets shut down, you get delayed on that third base. So when there's more than one Reaper on the map, like multiple Reapers, the third base is just something you can't take. Generally, in the past, I would say, like, you know, you're looking at kind of getting your third base down at about 5 minutes against 3RX Reaper. That would be great. On these maps, before 5 minutes is to be expected, because, again, it's just that little bit easier to push the Reapers back with a massive Zerglings. than, say, on, the older maps such as Frozen Temple and Galactic Process, which had multiple ledges to use, which meant those Reapers could keep dodging away from Zerglings for so long. Gonna be seeing these couple of Crypt Tumors going down here, as you can see Reapers getting blasted around as well. This grenade coming down there, as we see, just helping to push those few Zerglings away and stop them from engaging in. This is obviously what you want to be doing for Reapers, and you have to be so confident with your grenade usage, because if you're going to start missing grenades, then suddenly you end up in a really kind of crappy position where you just lose these Reapers straight away. I mean, you see UFilm using a build like this nowadays, and he looks fantastic with it still. But a lot of other Terran players use a build like this, and you're just like, well, why do you 3-axe Reaper on this map? It doesn't work. And it's all in the grenade usage more so than anything else. That micro is so important, but not just micro, just decision making as to where those lings are going to be and where the grenade is best placed. Going to be seeing ByuN in a little bit of a tougher spot now, because we are going to be seeing actually a few kind of hurried grenades, putting him into a bit of a crappier position. One more grenade going down, lings get blasted around. These Reapers going to continue running away to the bottom right hand side, and the lings will be able to chase for one more Reaper kill. So only 2 Reapers left, and soO has successfully defended this altogether. Now one more Reaper gets caught, and unfortunately ByuN just going to be losing out on that there. So that's a little bit unfortunate, as we see +1 Carapace going to be finishing up from soO. Second Evolution Chamber dropping down as well. I'm going to be seeing these few Marines and Marauder as well. Just going to come in, takes down that Overlord pretty much straight away. I'm going to be starting to work his way through these rocks to block off the run-by potential into the third base. So about 7 minutes in, and we are seeing both players heading in towards a bit of a macro game here. soO with a second Evolution Chamber coming down, going to continue to do those Carapace upgrades right away, but also probably going to start up his melee upgrades right now as well, as he continues to put into Ling Bane. The Bane speed finishing up shortly. And it's going to be just about in time to start dealing with the larger bio armies of ByuN. As ByuN does pull 2 medevacs into the left side of the map, we'll be looking to attack forwards with these and look to see what he can get up to. So those 2 medevacs are going to go over to the left. You're going to see the Reaper here. Actually just watching the 4th base, probably pretty decent usage of this final Reaper. Just look to see if a base gets taken on the left hand side. I mean, for now soO will take the right hand side base and start to push creep out in front of it. And so I guess so you can sort of already predict what this game's going to look like. A lot of kind of drops to the left hand side from ByuN, clean creep and trying to hit the third, while his main army will be pushing up the right, trying to push in this direction up towards the 4th. Ling Bane and Queen, more than enough to shut that medevac drop down. soO not going to knock down these rocks over here, going to leave this access to the third base open. Obviously wants the mobility between these bases on the left hand side of the map to be kept accessible, as we're going to be seeing a couple more units picked off over there. And ByuN's still not really moving on the map with the rest of his units. Now he is moving in towards the center. Looks as though these medevacs are going to join up with the rest of the army too. And again, beginning to push up the right hand side is what we're expecting out of ByuN, to start pushing down onto this 4th base. The constant parade push. It's been a thing since early Heart of the Swarm, and it's just what Terran players do best. He'll continue to rally units up here as, well, no combat shields yet. That's a very late combat shields. And that's something which he will still be missing at this point. So you see these Marines and Marauders spreading out a little bit. Obviously a couple of Widow Mines will make life a bit difficult, and that's what soO's trying to set up with these first few Lings and Banes. Widow Mine's still active here, and it does go off on a lot of Banes at the back. Nice from ByuN to keep that Widow Mine from firing for so long. Able to then use it at the very end and make sure it gets a large connection rather than just on a couple of Zerglings, which are looking to force a lot of friendly fire as well. Marine's going to start unloading from these couple of medevacs then, and just going to be seeing the push from ByuN, reinforcing and continue to push up the right side. Still no combat shields though. So we have a few more Banes about to finish. Another Widow Mine burrows for ByuN as well. Going to see one Queen going down. Scan gets rid of a couple of Creep Tumors too, and here we go. Zergling's picking off one Marine, actually pulling away from the other one. And soO, one thing you can definitely do is maybe pull a few units down to the center and then up towards the upper right hand side. That will create a little bit of a flanking kind of maneuver, allowing him to kind of come in 2 different directions towards those Marines. Muda's coming out now as well, actually going to pick off this medevac full of Marines. A couple of them getting out, but that's about it. And obviously the Muda's creating the kind of the next stage of this game for our Zerg player. And now will help a lot against, well, everything. Having Mutas just adds a whole new level of utility to your composition. You can chase down medevacs, whether they be drops, whether they be just medevacs as part of the army. You can also come in, snipe maybe a Widow Mine that's too far forwards as well, something that would have been a bit more difficult to do before with just Ling Bane. It just gives you a whole new level of utilities. This is nice, soO hitting that mid game. We see a lot of different kind of ways to play ZvT nowadays. Some players, they like to play the faster Infestation Pit still, skip the Spire altogether. Some players like to play a later Spire into Corruptors instead of Mutalisks. As you see, soO actually going to set up the Widow Mines quite nicely here, and so he can take the chance to move forwards. ByuN is going to have to start pulling back. He's in full evacuation mode. And soO, well, he might not stop, but actually there's a lot of reinforcements here from ByuN that will make soO at least pull back for a few moments. He doesn't have many Banes in this arm. He's +1 his fire attack coming in, and +2 melee attack coming in for him as well. But only about 10 or so Banelings. Not too many considering the situation. But yeah, just as I was saying, I mean, sometimes we see kind of the latest Spire for Corruptors and then into kind of Ultras. Again, sometimes we see players going for the Ultras before the Spire. This is one of the playstyles which people have had a lot of success with as of late. And it's a playstyle that always seems to come back in ZvT. You know, at the start of Legacy of the Void, we had Roach Ravager compositions being, you know, and everyone was like, well, Mutilating Bane is dead, we're never going to see this again. And then a couple of different changes here and there, and Mutas started to come back. And now, after patch 3.8, well, Mutilating Bane has been the kind of be-all and end-all of TVZ once more. We're going to see the Mutas do get a chance to jump in towards the natural expansion there for just a couple of moments. And then backing away at the same time, a drop to the left-hand side. A Widow Mine goes off just on an Overseer, I think, actually. So that's actually a pretty nice connection. Hitting an Overseer is better than hitting anything else, of course. So we just continue chasing this Medevac. Going to be going down in a moment or two. So Medevac is going to fall. Not sure why we're so laggy, guys. Let me pause my stream that's playing. We've really had just issues again lately. Kind of interesting. Anyways, a little bit of a skirmish to the right-hand side. soO really is just doing such a good job of continuing to push ByuN back. As we're going to see him engaging in here as well. The Widow Mine doesn't want to go off, and ByuN retargeting a few times to minimize the friendly fire. soO going to have to pull away. Not enough of the rest of his units here to continue pushing in. Now, the thing is, ByuN is about to hit a bit of a better stage of the game for himself. His final set of upgrades are about halfway done, as those kick in, our Zerg player will be stuck down on 2-2. So ByuN's going to have an extra layer of efficiency to this army, which will really help him continue to trade. Now, that said, a couple of Widow Mines get taken down here instantly, and soO going to leap on this opportunity. Mutas will start to chase down Medevacs. Is it enough? He's going to have some Lings left over. There's a few too many Marines here, and ByuN is just about able to hold on as he begins to float his 4th base into position on the left-hand side of the map. But the thing is, ByuN isn't making much progress right now, which means that soO, going into this sort of more difficult stage of the game, has a lot of advantages to work with. He's got a lot of creep in front of all of his bases. That's one of the more important things, because it means you have a little bit of a jump start on anything that's trying to attack you, and anything that's trying to kind of, you know, come and push in. So that's a little bit of a nice advantage, despite the fact he'll be down a set of upgrades. That's something you could work with here. Looking to try and pick up a Widow Mine, but Marines are nearby. Pre-split from ByuN in case soO attacks in too soon. And we're going to be seeing a few more Banes morphing in right here as well. So, continue to set up into this. We see the final set of upgrades about to finish, and that will be ByuN's next marker to continue being aggressive in this game. Mutila's going to come around the right-hand side, and they're going to look to hit this 3rd base in the next couple of moments. There's 2 turrets here, but enough Mutas at this point to realistically engage into 2 turrets. Gets rid of 1. The second is going to get repaired. And well, the repair's pretty good, but eventually it will go down. He's picking up some SCVs in the meanwhile as well. And there we go. He'll continue to work his way through this. So a few SCVs going down. ByuN distracted down here, but he's going to take the opportunity to actually move up the left-hand side, saying, well, actually, you know, your Mutas are out of position. I feel like I can do something with this. The Bane's rolling forwards and actually hitting quite a lot of Marines in the front. Widow Mines were just not burrowed in time there. And now we're going to see Muta's going to loop around. They're actually probably going to be sent up to deal with this 1 Medevac drop coming towards the 4th base, which means ByuN does get a few more Marines up the left, able to clean out some creepers. The Mutas will clean this out. 6 drones killed. Pretty much just evens out with the 6 workers the Terran player lost on his 3rd base just a few moments ago. A little bit of Marine Marauder will stem on over to the left. A little bit more Marine Marauder pushing up through the center as he just reinforces from his bases. Again, Widow Mine's not really finding the best of connections here. soO's been so good at denying these throughout the game, and again splits away last moment. As here we go, fighting towards the Planetary Fortress position. Bane's rolling forwards, getting rid of a lot of the Marines. But again, in the end, I just don't know if it's enough, although maybe it is, because the Mutas in the sky are having a pretty good time. soO will pull back. Planetary Fortress definitely helping out there. But the Marines coming through are just a little bit too much, and we'll need another wave of Banelings. He has an Ultras Cavern on the way, so his final setup of this game is coming on in now. Those Ultras will be the one thing he wants to get into game that he just doesn't have already. Also the final set of upgrades. I mean, obviously he'll also want to go Corruptors much later on once Liberators start coming out from the Terran player, but ByuN has not been making any Liberators so far, so that's not something soO currently concerns himself with, as these Medevacs and Marines gonna sit around this left-hand side still. Ling Bing gonna start moving forwards. A couple of Widow Mines, and one goes down, and the other goes off on just the Lings which are chasing. And actually, a few of those Medevacs get very low from all that friendly fire that they've been taking from Widow Mines, and, well, I guess not friendly fire, but from damage from Mutas as well. throughout the game as also. ByuN will scan top right. You'll see another base on the way from soO, and he's just not really been able to slow soO down at all in this game. Throughout this throughout the entirety of this, soO's been able to just attack again and again and again, deflect, and he's just maintained economy. We've never seen a drop really be successful out of ByuN. And that's kind of one of the issues that he's in right now. You know, if he isn't getting any success with any of this, you know, where does he go from here? We just fly on in. We're going to be seeing SCV starting to go down at the third base once again. ByuN will again take this as an opportunity to push up the left-hand side. He'll arrive just before a little bit of the Ling Bane is ready. But there's the rest of those Banes finishing up. First 3 Ultras on the way. No Kindness Plating for another 60 seconds or so, which means that there is still a little bit of a tougher time here where soO has to kind of stay alive and defend until he gets those Ultras out. But not just the Ultras out, but have the Ultras really be effective. Looks as though he might actually lose this base to the side. This Ultra just goes down instantly. I mean, without the +3 Carapace, without Kindness Plating, it will just die. Also going to see the mutas. Well, they're actually going to be able to start chasing down those medevacs. They're very low on health, and there's so many Marines inside of them. There goes 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think. All of them will just fall. The Lings will come in as well to help engage them. ByuN is below 100 supply at the moment, with soO still sat up at near to 170. It's really not a pretty position for our Terran player, although he does find a way to push forwards, pushing an Ultralisk away. Man, he's in trouble, actually. I didn't realize that ByuN had actually been losing his orbital commands. He actually lost 2 of those already, so he's actually just down to the... Sorry, he's got 1 left over, so he was just flying one of them out of position. But he lost one of them towards the third base, and that is kind of annoying. I mean, it's less scans, it's less mules. No medevacs in this fight right here as well. The first Widow Mines looking to see what they can do. They softened up the Ultralisks. Kindness Plating now in the game. 3-3, not far away, as the mutas and Ultras will push forwards. If the Ultras get rid of a few more Marines, maybe he can finish off with the mutas. Maybe just a few too many left over there, but still trades pretty okay. I mean, it's still enough, right? Now some Ling Bane moving forwards. soO will just come into this, and this is some of the last units of ByuN left in this game. GG has to be called, and soO is going to take game 1. Although, actually, yesterday in the OSC Championship Grand Finals, he went 0-3 against Keen in the first of 2 series to determine who the champion was going to be. He did win out in the end, but man, it was like... You know, we watched ByuN get 0-3. Like, when did that ever last happen? I don't actually think I've ever heard of ByuN losing a series without taking a map in a best of 5. Like, absolutely crazy. Anyways, to the top left, we're going to have our blue Terran player. It is going to be ByuN. And to the upper right-hand side, our red Zerg player. Taking game number 1, it is soO. Now, soO, here on Whirlwind is going to be opening with a pool first, which is already kind of interesting. Very interested to see how this is going to turn out. Now, obviously, from our Terran player, I was going to say we're probably expecting something different, but he actually went... Well, no, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. He went for React Sweeper last map, so yes, we are expecting something different. React Sweeper on Whirlwind is not a build order which you're expecting to see. It's just not expected to see React Sweeper on Whirlwind. It just doesn't work. Large map. I mean, you probably could if you're really desperate and wanted to try something crazy to win a game, but the reality is that it's just not necessary. So, you've seen a hatchery coming down on the natural expansion from soO, and he's going to be seeing his first drone going to start moving over to the third hatchery. So I was actually going to say going to see first drone moving to scout a bit, but it's going to pop down a third hatch very early. So, interesting pool hatch. A couple of lings on the way out, and now some queen production as well. As we setting up into game 2 of this. Again, soO 1-0 in the lead. We'll see if we're going to get a third game in this series if ByuN can fight back, or if ByuN is going to end up being eliminated, which would be a little bit of a shocker, of course. Not every day you expect someone like ByuN to be dropping out the tournament before winning the entire prize pool. He did have a good day yesterday, picking up $2,000 in the OSC Championship. So great to see all of these Korean players playing all these online cups. I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, all the best players in the world are playing $100 cups. But you gotta realize, like, you know, these guys, they're just gonna be playing anyways. And there's a reason, like, you know, people play these cups, right? Because, yeah, it takes a little bit longer, and maybe you have some downtime between games. But, you know, for the downtime you have, you still get very good practice. You get practice in a different environment as well. And you also get to kind of have a chance to play, you know, it's very easy to play these events. That's the difference between StarCraft 2 and a lot of other esports. Is that, you know, it's very easy for you to be able to play in these online events because you only need yourself. So you can show up and play. if you gotta go, you can kind of just forfeit or just not play or something, you know. It's very, like, low commitment to play in these events, so it's really awesome that they have the chance to play in these now. I mean, you'll probably see players who have GSL in the upcoming couple of days will probably take a few days off to prepare properly and all the rest, but other than that, it's great to see all the competition here now in Korea. I really feel one of the things that was missing for the Korean scene was online competition, because, you know, even the Limo League struggled with signups a lot, I think, in the, you know, in the past kind of year before the Casper players started to kind of be released and be able to join in as well, because they'd have like the same 10 or so top Koreans every week, and they were still missing a lot of the Casper guys, and that's not kind of very, you know, it wasn't very attractive to other event organizers to run events in Korea, because you end up with the same 5 to 10 online Koreans who keep showing up and playing, and they're good games, it's a good event, but it's very, you know, it just wasn't the kind of participation you're looking for, and that's something which has been missing. As soon as the rest of these players can play now, look how many more events there are in Korea. I mean, Base Trade have set up their weekly cup in Korea as well, the Base Trade TV Star League. Obviously, we've moved into Korea with this event also. You know, there's just, I think it was one of the main things Korea was missing. I stand by that. Anyways, this Hellion drop comes in, and it's going to be ByuN looking to do some early damage already, picking up 4, now 5 workers early in this. We've seen one Hellion going down, leaving only 2 Hellions left over. We'll get one more worker at least here, I think. Oh, no, actually, doesn't quite get it. The Micro just a little bit too good out of soO, and ByuN backing away. Keeps 2 of these Hellions alive, 2 more building. He's going into stim behind this, so he is looking for a bio-based follow-up. There's that Liberator on the way out of this main base. A few Marines and a couple more Hellions coming forwards as well. Third CC getting ready to drop down, and that's just going to be seeing these Zerglings. Well, Zergling speed actually on the way up as well, sorry. I was going to just get myself confused there. Yeah, there's link speed about to finish actually. Very late link speed because it was pool, hatch. Much later gas than you might expect to see. Which is why this Hellion kind of opening actually is kind of nice considering the circumstances. ByuN still with this medevac and 4 Hellions, and he's just going to sit here, fill the wall. And as he has his third command center finishing on up. Double engineering bay. And ByuN just going into a very standard follow-up here. More reactors, building up his barracks. And the lair on the way from soO. So pretty much what we're expecting right now. As we're going to be seeing the lair just over halfway done. A single Zergling coming in towards the upper left-hand side. Going to be moving forwards here, starting to work his way through this SCV. But the Hellions are nearby. And so the Zergling just picks up some information. I mean, seeing the fact that this is a third command center is already good info. Means that he knows it's not going to be a big committed 2-base play. And he can be a little bit more kind of hefty on the drone count. You can see a Viking here trying to make his way through an Overlord. Not going to happen, and ByuN going to end up losing this Viking here, unfortunately. As you see, Creep Team is continuing to push through the center of the map. Some Hellions still moving around on the left-hand side. And +1/+1 melee upgrades. It's gone up from our Terran player, from our Zerg player as well, as the 1/1 comes in for the Terran. So both players going into the double upgrades. As we're going to be seeing the Liberator just going to unsiege, pull away to the right-hand side. You can see that Liberator getting a little bit low. Queens are going to come in again. Did they not reach that? Wow. I guess because it's not really sieging up on anything important. It's just sieging up on the very edge of the base. So it doesn't really do a lot. Just keeps it out here in the front. As we're going to be seeing this combat shield just over halfway done right now from ByuN. The 1/1 upgrades continue to come in for him. They're also about halfway done. Spire dropping down from soO in the back. I'm just going to be seeing the drones and Lings continuing to build. Feels like here of soO going to be coming up to the top side and just moving around still as he's saturated now his third base. Probably a 4th hatchery soon as well. I mean, he's getting to that sort of point where you'll probably start thinking about that. I mean, really, it's kind of been a bit of a interesting game. You're going to see these Marines going forward. He's going to get a Queen and probably the Sport Call as well. No, going to back off as the Zerglings come in. So ByuN just going to get turned away right there. A little bit of a nice drop though. I mean, getting a Queen, always a good little pick off, and again, just ByuN pressuring early on as Stim comes into play. His combat shield's now done. He will make a bit of a bigger push with 1/1 as well. Going over towards the third. Zerglings engaging here in the main base, and they are slowly picking away these Marines. Eventually, ByuN does lift and back away from that. Now, an armory about to finish, so these few Hellions could become Hellbats, which would also be a pretty kind of cool thing we could see in this fight. Is ByuN, does he get that last creep tumor? Oh, he's so close, but he just didn't quite catch it. That's a little bit unfortunate there. There's those Hellbats morphing in. I mean, that's one of the nice things about maintaining these Hellions from earlier. These Hellbats are actually a pretty decent unit, honestly. I mean, you can use these Hellbats to great effect to be able to do so much of the tanking and so much more that you need to in this game. And you've seen these Marines going to stem over to the right-hand side. Going to be seeing a scan here. Creeptumor going to go down, and we're seeing this hatchery kill coming up to the right. We're going to be seeing one with a mine burrowing on the ramp, and another one just slowly moving a bit further forwards. Lings and Banes. Looking to see what else is going on here. Widowmine goes off on not too much at all, because Widowmine's going to be caught, and ByuN just pulling away right now. We'll actually turn to fight against the Lings and Banes, the Lings and Mutas here initially. Don't think he wants to fight once Banelings get involved, and he will just lift and boost away. Not a bad fight. I mean, with the Hellbats tanking and the Marines dealing damage, he trades that pretty well, but now he's going to be hunted down, so in the end he's going to lose all of this. And soO just keeps running in, and he's going to target down everything. Those Medivacs will not get away. Already used their boost. Even if there was another, the Medivacs would be able to, well, the Mutas would be able to stay on those Medivacs and stop them from escaping. A few Lings going to go rotate around in towards the third hatchery here. The fourth base from soO now finished, so he can, well, just continue to set up into his mid-game. His 2-2 will start shortly as well. That's one thing he just needs to make sure he does get on time, because obviously the more you delay your upgrades by, the further ahead the Terran player will end up with an upgrade lead, and it just gives him more time in the game where he can engage and take a better fight just because you didn't start your own 2-2 upgrades. And obviously you want to minimize little things like that. Some extra gas might be needed here by soO, which is obviously one of the main reasons for getting a fourth base up nice and quick. Also to saturate as well with some minerals. I mean, Zerg players are kind of a race, or Zerg is a race where when you get up to kind of a fourth base, you actually go and saturate that a bit more so than a Terran or a Protoss would. A Terran and a Protoss would generally sit on 3 bases worth of economy, so their fourth base replaces their main base. But as a Zerg player, you generally have a kind of a setup where you look to swarm your opponent, and you look to remax and rebuild quickly. With maybe slightly less efficient trades, so you look to mine a little bit more, and you look to rebuild more as well. See if this group of Mutilas still just flying around here. Marine's going to pick off a single changeling, which moves towards the front. You've seen a couple of Widowmines just burrowing, a couple more orders will come forwards as well. There goes one Creeptumor, now a second one as well. Obviously just gives ByuN a little bit of the map control back over on this side. So we're starting to get that creep a little bit too far forward for ByuN's liking in this top side of the map, as we're going to see. 2 Medivacs will lift and go over to the left-hand side. So they're going to lift and go over to the left as we see the Ling, the Bane, and Muta all spreading out and getting ready to go. So this is all spreading out, getting ready to attack on in, as we're going to be seeing ByuN. These couple of Medivacs down the left side as well. And we've seen this army from our Zerg just setting up. This is the problem with Whirlwind for a Terran player, right? Where, you know, as you start to push through the center, the Zerg has a huge concave he can set up into and can engage with, as we're going to be seeing starting to run forwards. Marines will stim, and here we go. Ling Bane just going to crash on through. A lot of Banes getting blown up here and there, though. We see the 4 going down. Is there enough for soO to just keep pushing with? Well, he's going to keep moving forwards. I mean, there's a lot of units behind this wall, but actually a lot of units getting clumped up as well, as Bane's going to crash on through. 14 SEVs going down, and soO is going to break into the natural expansion. At the same time, ByuN does have a double drop across the map, but it's not doing anything significant right now. Looking to cancel a 5th base, but what does that matter if your production's being camped? You're going to see ByuN is in a really difficult spot here. soO streams Lings across. 33 SEVs have gone down. I mean, there's this double drop, which is right now somewhat unstoppable for soO, but at the same time, the damage he's already done is way more than what this drop should get done by the time some reinforcements set up and get ready to deal with that. Ling is across the map, going to catch a 4. Obviously, a 4 doesn't really trade too well against Zerglings, as we're going to be seeing a couple of Widowmines going down. There's that double drop going in towards the natural expansion. ByuN is desperately trying to find more damage here, but soO just looks as though he's found a way to take down the online monster that is ByuN. Going to be seeing these Zerglings working their way through this depot. It falls, refinery falls, factory continuing to burn down here as ByuN pulls a couple of Medivacs back in towards the natural expansion. Still trying to do something with these, but it's just not going to be enough. One Medivac so low, and the meter is chasing as well. There it goes. It goes down one of these Medivacs, and that is basically ByuN's chance in this game just gone. GG. soO takes the 2-0 against ByuN and will advance on through to the semi-final.